It's Monday, March the 6th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today afternoon update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the Joseph family of Westmoreland St. James is at this hour in shock and dismay at the tragedy that has visited their household. Anderson DaCosta Joseph died late last night after being struck by a motor car while he and his 5-year-old son Nazaria were walking along Westmoreland Road. Police reports say that 48-year-old Joseph and the boy were attempting to cross the road when both were struck. The father died on the spot while his son was taken to hospital complaining of pain to his hands and head. Police are appealing to anyone who may have information regarding this accident to contact the nearest police station. The discretionary powers of the central bank governor and the Minister of Finance to print money will be taken away. That's what the opposition Barbados Labour Party says it will do if it is to return to government at the next general elections constitutionally due next year. Noting that this is a new BLP policy position, MP for St. James Central Kerry Simmons told a branch meeting of his constituency at the Hoyts Village office last night that a new Labour Party government will give Parliament the final say in any decision to print money.
There are also some things that we can say now by way of policy. And I want to tell you tonight that we have determined as a political party that the Barbados Labour Party, when elected, so I have no doubt that that election time will come, but the Barbados Labour Party, when elected, will end the arbitrary and discretionary power of either Minister of Finance or a governor of the central bank to print money without first seeking the approval of Parliament. It must come to an end. It must never happen again in Barbados. So that arbitrary and discretionary abuse by a central bank governor and a Minister of Finance acting hand in glove with one another must now be subjected to a rein it in and make sure that Parliament now has oversight. That this can't be a runaway way of financing government expenditure. Run down an economy and then ask a whole set of people, a whole nation, to cover under the weight, crumble under the weight, lose their homes, can't send their children to school, can't look after their health and well-being as the word, can't reinvest in fixing their houses and property that they work hard to accumulate because a government has been reckless in the way in which it has managed the affairs of the country.
Also speaking at that branch meeting was MP for St. James North, Edmund Hinkson. He is saying that last week's Standard & Poor's downgrade of this country's credit rating has put Barbados on the same level of Venezuela, where people are now having to line up for basic foodstuff.
Right now, this 18th successive downgrade that we have got 2 days ago has brought us at the same credit rating level of the Republic of Venezuela. You understand what I'm telling you? And you know what's going on in Venezuela right now, that people are lining up for rice, fighting over rice, to go to the ATM, they can't get any money, the salaries ain't being paid. Right now, Barbados, in the eyes of the international financial community, in terms of credit rating, is at the same level of the Republic of Venezuela. That is where we find ourselves in today. After 9 years of incompetent, uncaring rule by a Democratic Labour Party government.
Parts of Barbados were hit by a power outage this afternoon. Initial information from the Barbados Light and Power Company said the outage had affected Bridgetown, but it was later discovered that electricity in Warrens and the surrounding areas were also off. Up to news time, it was known that power was restored to at least Warren's area. In sports, Pakistan's tour of West Indies has been extended by 2 T20s, with a total of 4 now scheduled between Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago to kick off the start of Pakistan's 7-week tour of the Caribbean. The additional fixtures have also caused a shift in dates for the first of the originally scheduled pair of T20s. Now, the tour itinerary originally comprised 2 T20s, 3 ODIs, and 3 tests, starting with a T20 in Trinidad and Tobago on March the 31st. The tour will now begin in Barbados on March the 26th, with the first of the now 4 T20s.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That's Bear Stare News. I don't read about that on Barbados today since last night. That can't only can't do. 220. Who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now. The House of Representatives in Trinidad and Tobago convenes tomorrow to begin debate on a bill that, once it becomes law, will signal a fundamental change in a key aspect of the nation's justice system. Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi says under the proposed bill, the Director of Public Prosecutions will decide whether there is sufficient evidence for a case to be heard.
What we propose and what is contained in this bill is that you completely abolish preliminary inquiries. You completely abolish it, and you allow for the Director of Public Prosecutions to decide whether a matter is to be heard summarily or indictably. Simply. There's no more that ground of considering whether there's sufficient evidence to go forward, because the DPP will consider the sufficiency of evidence, and then the matter will go to the court for consideration.
The bill outlines the powers to be given to the DPP to consider whether a matter should go to trial or not. It also proposes that where the DPP does not prefer an indictment against an accused person within a relevant 12-month period, the accused may apply to a judge for a discharge, and the judge may discharge the accused if, having considered the reason for the delay in preferring an indictment, he is satisfied that in all the circumstances of the case, it would be just to do so.
And on the international scene, the Trump administration is today announcing a revised executive order banning immigration from 6 Muslim-majority countries, notably dropping Iraq from January's previous order. The new travel ban comes 6 weeks after President Donald Trump's original executive order was rolled out to chaos and confusion at airports nationwide, prompting a legal fight that saw the president rail against federal judges on Twitter.
The newly revised executive order dealing with who can and cannot get into the United States could come as soon as Monday. The new travel ban is expected to be more finely tuned than the original, with the goal of avoiding legal hurdles like the first travel ban, which is currently being held up in federal court. The new executive order is expected to exclude legal permanent residents and those currently holding visas. It's also expected to exclude language that prioritizes refugee claims of certain religious minorities. This new executive order was expected to come out last week, but after the president's successful joint address to Congress, the White House decided to separate the announcement from the speech to, quote, give the executive order its own moment. What isn't clear is what's going to happen to the old executive order. It's possible that it could be outright revoked, but White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer has said that the two orders could continue on a dual track. Even right up until the last minute, the administration is making tweaks to the order, and sources say there is a debate among Trump advisors about whether or not Iraq should be removed from the list of Muslim-majority countries from which travel will be cut off.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. Now, we are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and to Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.